Hi guys, welcome to Football Unspoken. This week I've got a really interesting topic for Rob, something a little bit different that I don't think we've sort of encountered before.
Oh no, how done am I going to be?
Very. I'm joking. No. I think this is going to be a sort of an enjoyable episode to be the person who gets to answer, aka Rob, in this situation. But before we get into it, I wanted to ask you a question, which is laying maybe some of the groundwork or getting onto the big topic. So since Sir Alex retired back in the end of the 2012-2013 season, United have had quite a few different managers: Van Gaal, Moyes, Mourinho, now Van Gaal. I wanted to quickly ask you, just in your opinion, who you felt was the best manager or the most successful manager since Sir Alex at United.
All right, well, you're going to send me off into another mini podcast here, boy. Right, I'll try and keep it short. I assume you meant Ten Hag is the last one, not Van Gaal again.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the I'm going to go most successful is Jose Mourinho. He was the best manager there. And the
Okay.
reason why is just trophies wise, the team that he had to work with was just
Hmm.
I just felt like he got the most out of the players. They might not have liked him, but success
Yeah,
wise, I think Mourinho is the best since Ferguson.
fair. So, as you said, we could have divulged into a whole podcast on that topic alone, but I want to steer that in a slightly different direction. And what I want to do, Rob, is I want to cover some of the top transfers from Manchester United since Sir Alex left year by year. Obviously, this could be a multi hour podcast, and we're not going to do that. So, I've literally just handpicked a few transfers each season. And what I want you to do is we're just going to put it into three categories, and you're going to tell
Yeah.
me whether you think each transfer was a good transfer, average, like let's say on the fence, or a bad transfer.
Okay.
Um, Obviously,
Okay.
feel free to give us a little bit of insight as to why maybe you rating someone a bad, good, or neutral transfer.
No, I'm
So,
just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there.
well, some of them I think you'll have to just for time wise. You know what I mean? If you give us like a whole mini podcast on every single player, then it's going to take a while. But
No,
yeah,
no,
so
no. This podcast episode is going to be a special episode where we go 3 hours.
I think what I might do is I might ask you at the end who are some of the standouts for you, maybe on the good or the bad side. But we'll see. We'll see where we are time wise. Otherwise, this could take hours. So starting off with 2013, 2014. So the first transfer market after Sir Alex left, David Moyes' first transfer market. They bought Juan Mata from Chelsea for 44 million. How are you
Mm,
seeing that one? Is that a good,
that's
bad,
a
or
good.
neutral?
That's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
It's,
That's an interesting
I think
start. I didn't.
I
I'm
think that was a
glad.
good one.
But you know what's funny is because I expected you. I didn't maybe expect it's harsh because maybe I'll get a smash from you for saying this. But I thought maybe you were going to be ultra harsh and just go like every transfer is bad because I think a lot of sensationalist football fans are like every transfer has been bad. So the fact that you started with Matt as good is quite an interesting start. All right, right. Fellaini, 32 million.
Oh my, no, that's abysmal. Is there a fourth category for abysmal? No, that's a shocker. That's a
What?
complete shock. I don't.
Why do you feel like that's a shocker?
I mean, he wasn't a Man United play. He didn't have the Man United
Yeah.
style. Like there was just,
Didn't connect with the fan
and
base.
to be honest, he came up with moments. I'm not going to say that every
Mhm.
game he played was awful, but
Mhm.
like man, he just was not. He was not a good enough player for Man United.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
it's
So moving on to the next transfer market, next market. That was I think when Van Gaal actually had come in and they bought Di Maria for 75 million.
I mean, that's also. I think that's poor as well. That's really bad. I mean, I feel a bit bad for Di Maria. I
Yeah.
think Louis van Gaal was not a good manager for him, and
Mm.
I think the pressure of being a Man United, especially at that time where Man United weren't playing well,
Mhm.
added to the fact that it was 75 million. It was
Yeah.
just, but he didn't play well either. So I
Yeah.
can't feel too bad for him, to be honest.
Luke Shaw, 37 million.
Good. I'm gonna go good there. I was close to putting neutral.
I'm glad you said that. If you'd said that was bad, I would have come after you because I mean, he's still at the club, and when he has played, I know he's been plagued by injury, but when he has played, I think you've got to be fair and say he's played pretty well for the club.
I think I've gone good because of the price tag. I think if it was like 8 million more, I probably would have gone neutral because he hasn't lit up the league, at left back.
Mm-hmm.
He's been solid. So
Yeah. Ander Herrera, 36 million.
no, that's puss. No, that's atrocious. If
Okay,
they got it for 15, if they've got it for 15 million, maybe that could be neutral. But like, I barely remember the guy playing. To be honest, he's just unmemorable.
I want to give you one more from that season, which I think is an interesting one. This was a
Mhm.
loan. The loan fee was 7 million. Radamel Falcao.
I'm gonna go neutral. Actually, I'm actually gonna go neutral there because I think it's unfortunate that he cost 7 million, but he did well. Like I
Yeah.
was kind of he did better than I thought he would do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm not. I don't think I'm putting him on neutral for his actual performances. I'm putting him on neutral for how I rated him before he came in.
Yeah, I'm just going to say as well, for Kyle, I feel like that's a podcast waiting to happen, just like discussing his career, because what a player at Porto and Atletico Madrid, and then what almost like a disappointment at Chelsea and United in a way, for like how good he was, I think, at Atletico and Porto. But that's not today's podcast, so moving
Uh,
along.
moving
In
along.
the 2015-2016 season, a couple of call-outs there. Martial, 60 million.
No, no,
No,
that's
it's not even, no, you're bad, just no.
that's just no. I mean, again, the guy's come up with moments, but you look at the price tag and the fact that he's still there. Like if they shifted him on for without losing any money, then you could probably put it in neutral. But they're gonna have to shift him on for like 25 million or for free.
And Morgan Schneidlin, 35 million. Only
No,
lasted a year.
no, that's disgraceful. That's just that falls along the same line of Fellaini.
Yeah,
Why have you done it? What
yeah.
was the purpose of bringing him in?
Cool. Next season, 2016-2017. There's one big player in here, so I'll go from the bottom to the top.
Oh, good.
Zlatan, free transfer.
That's good. That was a good buy. Free
That's a
transfer.
standout. So far, that's a
That's
standout good
that's the
transfer.
best buy in this list by a mile.
Mkhitaryan, 42 million.
I'm gonna go neutral there. I feel like he didn't do badly, but 42 million is a bit too expensive, and he didn't really last very long. But at the same time, he played well, so I'm gonna go neutral.
Cool. Paul Pogba, 105 million.
I mean, that's just bad. But I feel bad. I said this on TikTok earlier this week, but like I feel a bit bad for Paul Pogba because he doesn't control how much he's gone for.
That's
I
true.
feel like if he'd gone for 55 million,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be rated as badly as he was. His time at Man United, plus the
He
fact that he
also
just played under the wrong managers.
Yeah, word for word, I was going to say that. It's like Pogba strikes me as someone who needs the arm around the shoulder rather than the tough love of Mourinho.
Yeah, yeah. Added the fact that he needs an attacking minded manager. He's not a defensive minded player.
Yeah,
Like
that's
he
true.
can
He's
do it,
absolutely
but
right
his skills are forward moving. Like he's so
there.
good going forward. Why would you
Yeah,
ask a player like that to try and be defensive?
fair. Right, 17-18 season, Lukaku, 85 million.
No,
No, not having that. I
no.
was
It's just
not. Okay.
again. What I'm listening to the numbers here, and I'm like, what are you getting for this amount of money?
Yeah.
Like the numbers are just ludicrous.
Okay. Matic, 45 million.
I'll go neutral.
I think that's a good shot. I actually think this was a decent, I wasn't great, but actually this was a decent transfer. 45 million, not that much money to be honest. He's a good, solid defensive mid in the league. He doesn't get injured much. Like it's just a good player to have in the squad, I reckon. And then
yeah,
considering he was a Mourinho style player, I think with Mourinho buying him, it fitted quite well actually.
yeah. I think that's what it comes down to. He was a Mourinho player, and it was a good buy if you carried on with Mourinho, but it's just neutral because he didn't really do much after that year. I feel like.
Fair. 18-19 was quite a quiet transfer window, but there's a standout here of Fred for 65 million.
I really, really want to put him in bad. You don't understand how much I want to put him in bad because I
Yeah.
really don't like him as a player. But
Yeah.
his last like season and a half, I don't know what happened. He just became a monster. So I'm gonna upgrade him to neutral. But my
Ooh.
word, I want him to be bad so much.
Rob wants Fred to be bad, but he
No,
can't.
this bloke used to annoy me so. You know why he annoyed me so much? He played awful 95%
Yeah.
of the team, and then he'd come to Newcastle. He'd become the greatest midfielder of all
Yeah.
time. You're like, no, this is unacceptable. It's
Son,
actually
remember he was
unacceptable.
Brazilian.
It's just ridiculous.
An interesting one. I think this is a good discussion point if you have an opinion here. Dallo, the right back, 22 million.
I'm I'm gonna go good based on the price tag actually,
If he
because
ends it
22
good, I was going to
million.
come after you because I think 20 million, he's still starting for them now. He's actually improved as well, like you're talking about Fred in
I
the
mean, he
last one.
shouldn't be starting. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Anyone who says he's better than Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not allowed a football opinion again,
Okay.
because like that's just Aaron Wan-Bissaka is one of the best defensively, one of the best
Yeah.
uh, right backs in the
Hmm.
league.
Hmm.
He's not great offensively, but like I think Diego Dallo for 20 million as your second string who can play in the first team is a very good buy.
Yeah. Right. The 2020 season, Maguire, 88 million.
Do I have to answer that?
Cool.
I mean,
Moving on.
that's just poor.
Well, this was such an interesting transfer. I think, to be fair, the second one I'm going to list was a January transfer. But it was such an interesting season. On the one hand, you had the Maguire, 88 million. On the other hand, you had Fernandez for 65, which seems like actually an outrageous buy.
Yeah, that is very good for 65. I mean, the one thing I'll say, again, I feel a bit bad for saying Maguire is a bad buy because he's a good player. Like I would take him in Newcastle. Well, I
Absolutely.
wouldn't take him in Newcastle now because
Mm.
he doesn't fit in that system. You need to be playing with a Jose Mourinho, to be honest. Like you need someone who understands how defenders play,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's not the right player for that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Whereas Bruno Fernandez, I mean, as a bloke, that bloke's atrocious. Again, I can't be asked with that bloke as a bloke.
Cool. In
But
the
65
2021
million
season,
sentiment.
in the 2021 season, they say they signed Donny van der Beek for 40 million.
No, that's awful. No, that's awful. No, it's awful. Don't need to explain that. That's awful.
Yep. 22 season, they got Ronaldo for 17 million.
I'm gonna go good.
Okay,
I'm
I
actually gonna
don't
go good.
disagree. I don't disagree. I think a
On
lot of
this one,
people would.
I think I was surprised with myself because I don't. Again, it's one of those I don't want to put in good, but
I
like,
surprised myself of my own rating.
but for 17, I forgot he was so cheap. For 17 million, like that's not bad. I mean, the guy was near enough top goal scorer.
He was the top goal
Scored
scorer.
goals, scored goals for fun, and then you got to think the brand in general. You know, they sold stupid amount of jerseys, and you got fans back in and all that stuff. So
Million, yeah.
I think that was a pretty good buy.
Varane, 40 million.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go neutral. I'm gonna go neutral, and the reason I say I'm gonna go neutral is because I was gonna put him in good, but he's being
Hmm.
underutilized so much. He is a good buy, and I think the managers
Yeah,
have mismanaged him. I think that's where it
yeah,
comes in.
fair. Oh, this is a low hanging fruit. I almost feel tempted to leave it up, but we're here now. Sancho, 85 million.
No, that's a great buy. That's the best buy they've had. It's the best buy. I
Fair
mean,
enough.
again, it's just poor. But again, it's not really. I mean, the guy's not played well, but there's also a lot of mismanagement in there. So
Cool, and let's get to the last full season of transfers because there's no point analyzing the guys who only arrived this season. The season's not even over, so I'm only going to analyze
yeah,
them one season back. Casemiro, 70 million.
no, I think that's
Are
I
you
think
not
that's a
having
bad
that?
buy. I think that's a bad buy. I'm not having it. It's not like
Yeah,
it's not fourth tier. Rob's not having
yeah,
it, but
yeah,
I don't think it's a good buy. 70 million for this guy to play well for one season,
yeah.
like. It was essentially he paid 70 million to buy the Carabao Cup. That's what you've done.
That's a big
Um,
statement.
and like great for you for winning that. But like the guy's not been good this season at all, and I can't see him getting better.
Fair, okay. And then I'll land you on a low-hanging fruit to end it off. Anthony, 95 million.
I mean, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. That's one of the. Even when they bought him, I went, "This is you know what this was? This is a Football Manager buy. It's the bloke you buy on Football Manager, and then he's going to become a monster. But in real life, it's just it's just a dribbler, and that's all it does.
Yeah.
And you can get away with that in the Dutch league. You can't get away with that in the Prem.
So you can't see him getting better.
No, he's not. He's not a Premier League player, to be honest. Like you can see it. He's not got the strength in the dribble, because that's the thing. You look at the guys who dribbled well, and they had strength and balance, like Hazard, Ben Arthur. Like these guys, they had strength. Anthony doesn't have that. He's got skills. He's got a lot of skills. Don't get me wrong. And he would rip the Spanish league apart because then like, and he'd rip most of it up. But I think the Prem he's going to struggle because he doesn't have the strength to hold players off when they're challenging him.
Yeah. Right, so it's obviously been a slightly longer podcast than normal, but I just want to end the whole thing off by asking you maybe what were one or two standouts for you, good or bad, that come to mind. If you can remember. I know I've thrown a lot of names at you, but just
I think Fellaini stands out as bad. I just don't. It was at the time I didn't understand it. Looking back, I don't understand it. It was just ridiculous. And then I think Zlatan. I forgot that he came for free.
Yeah,
Zlatan
that is ridiculous.
The absolute standout. I kept thinking they bought him, but no, for free is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've got the numbers in front of me. I've got the advantage of that. But I'm gonna. Do you know something that we didn't even discuss just very briefly was that actually Mkhitaryan, he ended up leaving because he did the swap deal for Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal. I don't know if you remember that. As like and both of them kind of failed.
That's the worst. That's the worst transfer. Lost a half decent centre mid and got the worst right wing and the left wing on the face of the planet.
I'm going to argue the Di Maria for 75 was quite a calamity for me. That one just didn't work at all. Back in 2015, 75 million was a lot more because you put inflation and stuff now. That was probably 100 million or over for Di Maria. It didn't work out at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate the listen. Particularly if you stuck with us throughout this whole podcast. If you've got any ideas for some future podcasts, please let us know. We love the comments here. And check out our page for any future sort of short videos as well. We've been posting a few Football Unspoken extras throughout the week, so keep a lookout for that. And we'll see you next time for another Football Unspoken episode.